Epic Originals presents Creepy Cafetorium, Book 7, The Calamitous Comic. Written by Carol Cleo Burrell, with Colleen A.F. Venable. Illustrated by Anna Maria Young. Performed by Andrea Ems. Welcome back to Newville Elementary. The students are ready to learn. The teachers are ready to teach. The tentacle monster is ready to, not exist, because there definitely isn't a tentacle monster under the bleachers. While I, Gertie, love school, I do wish I had more time for my hobbies. What? You don't think adults have hobbies? Well, we do. We're human. Most of us. Take Ms. Frock. When she's not teaching science, she's an excellent landscape fencing fencer. She puts those hedges on guard. Principal Rodriguez runs marathons, D&D campaigns, and dishwashers. And Mr. Noodlestrudel has quite a magnificent collection of shoe insoles. And me? I love comic books. Got a huge box of 'em somewhere around here. I even have the first issue of Superman. It's the story of an alien who crashes to Earth as a baby and then becomes a huge fan of early evening meals. Thrilling. Today's story is about another comic book fan, D.D. Foster, who learns that there is no I in team, but there are 3 I's in Help, I'm trapped in a comic book! Dee had always considered Wednesday an important day because it contained an ancient tradition sacred to all comic book fans. But on this Wednesday, Dee was not happy. First thing, her cosplay party in the cafetorium had not gone well. No one had dressed as any of the best comic book characters. Everybody except Dee had come as boring, overrated Kid Mischief, and they were all wearing the costume from the movie, not the comic book. Dee had cosplayed the best superhero ever, Miss Magnificent. She had worn the right costume, the one Miss Mags had started wearing in special double issue number 999 when she got her fusion-powered gloves. Nobody else at Newville Elementary understood comics at all. Second thing, Wednesday was the day you could buy new issues of comics, so Dee had stopped on her way to school and bought the latest issue of the best superhero comic ever. The second thing sounds pretty good until you read the third thing, which brought Dee to the third thing. Today's lunch was honey-fried pickles, and everybody was covered with a layer of sticky pickleness. Ooh, is Kid Mischief in that one? Can I see? Asked Remy, holding out his hand. No, Dee answered, sliding away from him, then sliding away from the table, then sliding across the cafetorium. She found a not sticky place to read behind some supersized cans of sloppy tuna stacked in a corner. There was even a big box wrapped in lots and lots of packing tape to sit on while she read in private. That is, until Mr. Noodlestrudel, the lunch monitor, stood on tiptoe and peeped over the sloppy tuna cans. No one is allowed behind the tuna, Mr. Noodlestrudel scolded. Dee hoped he couldn't see that she was reading Miss Magnificent Tales number 1047. He didn't understand comics at all. Get out of there right now and take that box to recycling. Mr. Noodlestrudel untiptoed and disappeared. Dee sighed, stood up, and lifted the box. Oof, she said, dropping it. It toppled over sideways. If I were a superhero, she thought, I could lift this with no problem. Then she noticed the big black handwritten letters all over the bottom, which was now the side. They read, Confiscated, no comics allowed in school, danger, comics. Anybody else would have taken a danger box right to recycling, just like Mr. Noodlestrudel had ordered. Or they would have hidden it behind a giant tuna can because it was really heavy. But Dee knew better than anybody else. While Mr. Noodlestrudel was focused on using Honeybee Gone to unstick the goat from Les 2, Dee dragged the box under a table way in the back of the cafetorium, hoping Mr. Noodlestrudel wouldn't notice. She peeled the tape off every edge and corner and opened the box. Clouds of dust puffed up. There was a big stack of comics inside. It felt like she was part of her favorite adventure comic, Illinois Jones and King Tut's Tomb of Treasures. Dee did a little dance. The comic on top was Miss Magnificent Tales number 47, which made it nearly 100 years old from the golden age of comics. The price on the cover was 10 cents. That's probably $50 in today's money. This is a collector's item, Dee thought. What's in the box? Robbie asked, startling Dee Dee and causing her to jostle the comic. A staple popped out. Ugh, now it would only be worth $49. Oh no, your comic is falling apart, Robbie said. He tried to catch a falling page, missed, and left a honey-fried pickle handprint on the table. That's because it's a super old collector's item, said Dee Dee, as she threw herself between Robbie and the comic book before he could get his sticky lunch fingers all over it. Another staple popped out. $48, Dee Dee sighed. She turned her chair around and went back to reading, turning the pages carefully but quickly. She wanted to read as much as she could before Mr. Noodlestrudel reconfiscated the box. Can I sit next to you and read it while you read it? Robbie asked. I guess, said Dee Dee. Are there any mashed potatoes in this one? He asked. No, she said. This is about the greatest superhero ever, Miss Magnificent. Does she have a sidekick? Asked Robbie. I like sidekicks. They're small like me. Dee Dee sniffed. Miss Mags never had a sidekick. Teams are silly. I like heroes who work alone and don't have sidekicks or anyone else getting in their way, interrupting their... Why did her eyes just shoot fireballs? Robbie asked. If you'd read all the comics, you'd know that she got her superpowers when the good gopher people zapped her with super strength and fireball power while she was pulling up weeds in her window box. That opened a tunnel to an alien city. And now, the supervillain / gopher / comedian / computer hacker, Gopher It, wants revenge because... Robbie was looking at her blankly. Never mind, it's too much to explain, Dee Dee said, sighing loudly. Across the room, laughter came from table 18. I'll keep knocking if you keep answering, said Phyllis. That was funny? Questioned Remy, confused by his own words, and the fact that he was laughing at all. Remy frowned. Dee Dee frowned. Everybody frowned, including Phyllis. Phyllis wanted to be a comedian, but the only time her jokes were funny was when something strange was about to happen in the cafetorium. This time, it seemed like nobody was sure why they were laughing. Because it wasn't funny. It wasn't even a joke, more like the end of one. But where was the beginning? How could you laugh at the end if you hadn't heard the beginning? Dee Dee turned the page. Issue 47 is the first time Miss Mags met Gopher It. It's legendary. Knock knock. Who's there? Elk. Elk who? Moose be the wrong door. Uh-oh. Wait, something's wrong. This is page 4, and the next page is page 28. The panels look like they're out of order, too. Weird. Moose who? Moose! Who's there? Knock knock! That's when Dee Dee started noticing that her comic wasn't the only thing out of order. Whoa! Is that a narration box? It knows my name! No, I didn't. Did you hear what Tiana found in the bottom of her chocolate milk? Don't worry, I won't touch your comic book. No, it's bananas! This is awesome! I am in a comic book! I wonder when I'll get my superpower. Okay, so being in a comic isn't perfect, but it's still so cool. Ugh, lost another staple, but that's an easy fix. I'll just... Pow! Oof! Oh no, my library book! Sorry, important comic book business. I can figure this out. Dee Dee Foster! We need that wall safe and sound to keep room 47 next door from getting in. This better not be a permanent art project. An art project? Yes, that's what this is. What are you up to, Dee Dee Foster? Oh no, Mr. Noodlestrudel, you're out of order too. Rah, rah. Maybe being in a comic book isn't so great. I have to fix this. I'm not worried. You're a comics expert, Dee Dee. You'll put the story back in order and get us out of here. I don't know. I thought I knew everything about comics, but figuring this out is too hard. I'll help. This page with the guy with silly hair is upside down. It is? I thought that was a pineapple. I think this page comes after that one, but we're still missing something in between. Why did the pineapple hair guy attack City Hall? I have an idea. Maybe he's angry because Miss Maggs turned him into a half-pineapple man after he tried to steal the nano-diamonds. Miss Maggs would never do that. She'd find a way to fix everything without hurting anybody. Okay, maybe the nano-diamonds aren't in a bank, but are hidden under City Hall. And Miss Maggs teams up with the good gopher people to tunnel the nano-diamonds out so Pineapple Hair Guy can't find them. And then swoop, she grabs him. That's a good idea. I mean it. That would be a really, really good story. Too bad those pages are missing. Hey, maybe we can make our own story. Yes! We can fill in all the plot holes. But we'll need art, too. Do you want to draw some comics? Did you know some people think Egyptian papyrus scrolls from 3,000 years ago count as the first comic books? Cool! I did not know that. Okay, here's the script. Who has the best handwriting? Do you want to draw some comics? Do you want to draw some comics? Did you know some people think Egyptian papyrus scrolls from 3,000 years ago count as the first comic books? Cool! I did not know that. Okay, here's the script. Who has the best handwriting? Do you want to draw some comics? Do you want to draw some comics? Did you know some people think Egyptian papyrus... Epic... Draw! Do you... Draw! Right! Staple! Flatten! Cafetorium squad! Robbie looked around. We're out of the comic! He exclaimed. Dee Dee carefully set their new comic on the table, and everyone gathered around. She very, very carefully opened it. All of the staples stayed put. She pointed to the bottom of the first page. Look, she said. Under Creative Team, it read, Words, Remy. Art, Margot and Tiana. Lettering, Tiana. Staples, Robbie. Flats, Margot. Editor/consultant/publisher/team leader, Dee Dee Foster. That looks very professional, said Remy. I can't believe we made a book, said Margot. But did it work? Is everything happening in the right order? Robbie asked nervously. They all sat down quietly and listened. Phyllis made a left-hand turn on her way to the garbage cans and joined their group. Phyllis saw their comic, reached out to turn a page, and then pulled her hand back quickly. Oops, sorry, Dee Dee. I didn't mean to touch your comic book. No, it's okay, Dee Dee said. Do you like it? Phyllis carefully flipped through the new book. Did you all make this together? It looks great. Hey, I know who that character is. Go for it. He tells jokes with clues the hero has to figure out. Everybody knew that Phyllis had always wanted to be a comedian, but Dee Dee hadn't realized that Phyllis also knew about the greatest stand-up villain ever. Phyllis half smiled, like a warning. I have a joke. Knock, knock. Everybody waited nervously. Knock, knock, said Phyllis again, wondering why everyone was nervously glancing around the cafetorium. Who's there? Asked Dee Dee and the others, all at the same time. Impatient Snail. Impatient Snail who? They asked. Phyllis didn't say anything. They waited. She still didn't say anything. Phyllis? Asked Dee Dee, starting to worry. Open the door, said Phyllis. Robbie shook his head. I don't get it. It's the snail, Phyllis explained. He's really impatient, but he's a snail. Wow, that's terrible, groaned Margot. It really is. That joke is terrible, repeated Dee Dee, grinning. They all cheered. Everything was back to normal in the cafetorium. I really like the way our story ended, Remy said, even though there wasn't a big final battle or anything. Dee Dee shrugged. Comic books can tell all kinds of stories. Stories about dragons and wizards? Asked Tiana. Dee Dee nodded. Yep. Books about cool teams who work together to save the world? Asked Remy. Dee Dee nodded. Absolutely. Can we read one of the team ones? Asked Robbie, rifling through the box. Dee Dee slid the danger box closer to herself and closed the lid. I have some new ones I can share with you all tomorrow. She reached for the red tape dispenser, which was randomly on the table. She taped all 12 edges of the box shut, then put 2 extra layers of tape on the 13th edge, just to be safe. We can sit together and read during lunch, said Margot. It could be a club? Dee Dee grinned. A comic book club. Super! But you'll all have to learn the history of Miss Mags, she told them. First thing, Dee Dee said, is that this month, Miss Magnificent is fighting the Shaker, a giant slug that thumps the ground and causes earthquakes. Second thing, his only weakness is pepper. But there isn't any left on Earth, because in the previous issue, an alien from another solar system bought it all. Dee Dee looked around. Margot was doodling a snail, a pepper shaker with an X over it, and a spaceship. Remy was nodding, and Robbie looked confused. Third thing, that was because 10 issues before... Dee Dee stopped talking. You know what would be more fun? She asked excitedly, opening up the newest issue, number 1047, on the table. Let's read them all together in our club! She slapped a hand over her mouth. Yelling in the cafetorium normally got you a warning from Mr. Noodlestrudel, but she didn't hear him say a word. Dee Dee grinned. Hey, maybe Mr. Noodlestrudel is really into comics after all. Get me out! Splash!